Welcome to LOA Today. I'm Walt Keeson. With me today are Monique Scott and Bridget D. This is your Daily Dose of Happy. We are so happy you decided to join us today. We got started just before doing the podcast today by just kind of saying, well, what are we talking about? I'm not sure, but I know what we were talking about. Monique and I were kind of, comparing notes on what it's like when you're in business for yourself and how there's just not enough time to do everything. And I was relating to you, Monique, how my brother had given me this gift for Christmas, and it turns out that after a series of steps, it's an electronic keyboard, a piano. And I used to play piano when I was a kid. So I figured, well, that's like kind of a cool thing to have as like something to get away to, a break in the day.
Yeah.
I've been amazed because I've been using it every single day. I mean, some days it may be 5 minutes, but that 5 minutes, it just breaks the train of thought of whatever you're getting all hooked up in and getting all worked up about and stressed out about and all that. And it's amazing. I mean, I never thought, seriously, I'm doing things now on the piano, scales and so forth, that when I was a kid was drudgery. Now it's like a joy because it's stuff I normally have to do.
I love it. I love it.
And you were commenting to me how you've been just dealing with stuff. I mean, do you have a particular thing that you do to kind of, break the strain?
Unfortunately, I do not. But this past weekend, I didn't do anything. And when I say I didn't do anything, for me, that means I didn't think on anything related to business, whether it was Jerisha's business with my coaching over there, or whether getting my own business together. Like I just did, that wasn't my plan, but I was like, I'm so tired of thinking. Oh my gosh, I'm so tired of thinking, because literally every thought is business related. So It's really difficult for me to unplug it. A lot of times I'm in this 24/7 hustle mode because I can always think of something else that needs to be done, right?
We all can. Yeah, that's part of what happens when you get going with this kind of stuff.
Right. I'm at work today and I'm making a list.
There's the list. Yeah.
Okay. Related to my business. Oh my gosh.
Well, as Bridget knows, because Bridget and I have both been through the TIA program, the Trust Your Abundance program. One of the things they teach you there is to do low thought activities as part of the way of getting yourself back up the spiral. And so it turns out for me. Oh yeah, it's a really cool thing. I mean, have you done that 3-step process much, Bridge? I use it regularly.
Yeah,
you do it a
lot.
Yeah, it's really good. I mean, the 3-step process is this is particularly when you're down the spiral, low vibe, not feeling good, that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. First step is the low thought activity, which is anything that doesn't require a lot of thought. Piano doesn't require a lot of thought. Doing dishes, ironing, taking a walk, all stuff that it just doesn't require any kind of thought at all. You can just kind of do it, and it's mechanical and kind of slows you down a little bit. So that's the first step. Second step is to do some appreciation. So find at least 3 to 5 things to appreciate and get into that emotional vibrational flow. And then third step, and I often don't even have to get to the third step. The first 2 usually take care of it, but on like 2 or 3 occasions I've had to have it. The third step is you meditate for 10, 15 minutes, something like that. And that combination, that 3-step combination, I have yet to have that fail to get me up to a high vibe space again.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. How about you, Bridget? I mean, is your experience similar?
Exactly the same, honestly, because I also don't always go to step 3 because I don't always have to, like you said, because normally I could find more than even 5 things, even when I'm down, like after the low thought activity, to appreciate, no matter what it is. So yeah, I feel like after that, I don't typically need to do the meditation, but yeah, it works wonders every day. The dishes, my walks, everything. Yeah. Oh yeah.
And it's so nice to have for those times where you just plunge, right? Where you plunge all the way down and you smack your face on the pavement because you went down so far.
Because you were in get it done mode or whatever it may be. Yeah.
Or perhaps old gremlins came back and haunted you, and now all of a sudden your mind's off on a track you don't want to be on. So, yeah. It's like, it's probably the best tool I've ever encountered in all the years I've been doing the podcast, for sure. So yeah, we can thoroughly recommend it, Monique. Give it a shot. 3 steps, low thought activity, appreciations, meditation, in that order, and you'll clear anything. Plus, it'll give you a break from all that stuff you've been doing.
And I will try, because normally that's when I'm doing my thinking. When I'm doing the low thinking, low thinking stuff, like you said, it's mechanical, so I don't really have to put too much thought into it. So my brain automatically says, well, you already know what you're doing here. Oh, well, let's think about this and let's think about that is kind of what happens. And my gratitude I do every morning. So I'm going to have to try and implement it the way that in the steps that it goes, because maybe that might help. But other than taking a shower, I can't really think of too many.
Showers are awesome too, though, for it. I mean, showers are, that actually works for me too, but I can do it every day, so hey.
It's anything. I mean, it could be gardening. It could be anything that doesn't require a lot of thought. The point is just to do something like that for 10 minutes. You only need like 10 minutes of it, 10 to 15 minutes. That's maximum. Yeah, it's not the whole process, all 3 steps probably takes a half an hour.
Okay. The goal is to just mentally to release though, right?
To release all that stuff, all that junk.
I need to work on that. Okay.
And then once you do, of course, you're in a much higher vibe space, and all of a sudden, stuff that was impossible before now starts to seem plausible. Mm-hmm. Okay. Right? Because you're in that better feeling spot again. Yeah. No, it's really powerful stuff.
Thank you. Thank you both.
You're welcome.
I'll try that.
See, there's a good reason for you to have come back to do the podcast with us right there. You just got it.
Oh, man, because I tell you, the only thing I've found that really takes my mind like I don't think is if I'm watching a movie or some type of show. Because my mind is on what I'm watching, right? I won't say I can't think, but I'm so engrossed in the show, that I'm not thinking. Mm-hmm. So that's like one of the only things I've found that allows me to really unplug. So this is going to be a challenge for me, Walt and Bridge, for sure. I'm going to try that. Oh, well, okay. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to try it today because I don't have any mindless stuff to do today, but tomorrow I'll try it in the morning when I come back from the gym. I try it in the morning in the shower, and my shower is usually about 10 minutes. So I will do my best not to listen to any music, not to listen to no Bob Proctor, no Earl Nightingale, nothing. Okay, just nothing, because that normally keeps my mind occupied too. I just realized, you guys, while we're talking, that's why I'm always thinking. I never really thought about that, but I'm constantly stimulating my mind. Sure. It's rare that I'm not. It's rare that I'm, like you said, even in those mindless tasks, I'm always thinking, okay, you know what I mean? And I didn't even really realize that that's why I'm tired. And that's why I didn't do a dang thing the weekend. Like I purposely didn't, I was supposed to. Oh, you guys, I did shop. I shopped. And
that qualifies as low thought activity, by the way.
Yeah.
It does.
You're right, because I didn't think any business stuff the whole time.
Right.
I'm moving into my new apartment next Tuesday.
Ooh.
And so I was in Macy's and I was shopping. So I was completely focused on buying stuff for my home. And so, I didn't. But on Sunday, you guys, when I tell you, I was so lazy, I didn't even go and get anything to eat. I was like, nope, I'm going to pay this $20 for DoorDash, which is completely ridiculous, right? Between the food and the delivery charge, right? And the tip. I was like, I'm paying $22, but it's $22 not to leave my bed. And I did not. I didn't even leave the house the whole day, you guys.
Hey, good for you. You honored your body's will, so.
I did, because let me tell you, I came home yesterday from work. I don't know what the heck. I told myself, oh, you know how you guys say, oh, I'm going to do a 30 minutes at the most little cat nap, right? 2.5 hours later, I woke up and I was like, God, dog, I was really, really tired. Walt, I'm telling you, I'm just not as young as I feel anymore. Oh my body is like, what are we doing, Monique? Okay, you're 51, not 31. Calm down, right? It's just so tired, though.
But that's the interesting thing about this method, because when you do the method on something of a regular basis, you find that mindset shifts, because now all of a sudden you have energy to do things you didn't have before.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes complete and total
because
sense.
you cleared things out, right? You cleared out the cobwebs essentially.
Okay.
You know, all the stuff that's kind of fogging up everything, so you really can't even see what your next step is, or if you can see it, you can't see past the second step and all that kind of thing. And then you've got the worry functions going, and you've got all the stress. Yeah, right. The list. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, you got all that.
Jeffrey said dance party. I'm all about the dancing, so I mean that helps
would
me.
work.
I don't know
I
if
like
you like
that,
dancing,
Jeff. I
but
like
if
that.
you like dancing, yeah.
Well, actually, you call it a
sure.
cardio dance party, so we're talking high energy, right?
Yeah.
No, definitely. I think that would absolutely work.
Yeah.
But if you don't have a dance party handy, the 3-step method works really nice.
And I promise I'm going to try it tomorrow.
You should. Yeah, it works really, really well.
Yeah, I'm interested. I'm interested to see if it works for you.
Yes, I will.
Yeah, you have to give us a
back,
report.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right. Definitely. Good stuff. Something I saw on social media the last day or two, somebody had posted a picture of the human brain in sort of and it wasn't the actual brain, it was like a map of the brain kind of a thing. And they were showing where the reticular activating system is. And it's this little tiny section at the base of the brainstem, right? It almost, you have to look carefully because you can miss it if you don't look carefully. It's really small. And yet, as I was looking at it, I was thinking to myself, my God, that little piece of nothing there, boy, does that cause a lot of problems for us. It solves a lot of problems too. Don't get me wrong. But it also causes a lot of problems because that's where all the programming goes on.
Exactly.
All the filtering goes through there. Like, oh my goodness. So I guess I'm hopeful that, the more I do things like the 3-step method, I'm reprogramming myself in the more positive way. I'm taking advantage of what that RAS can do for us. But it was also kind of like a little eye opener. Like, yeah, remember, this is where it all happens here. So you can either put it to your advantage or you can let it work whatever way it's going to, and you deal with the consequences. It's entirely up to you.
Exactly.
So let me ask you, because we haven't done a show in a while, you and I. We did one about a month ago. That was the first one we've done in quite some time. Do you have like a daily practice for reprogramming?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh. Who else am I talking to, buddy?
Well, it's you and Bridge, so flip a coin,
For daily programming, the first thing that I can think about is usually the mirror technique. So I still practice that.
Oh, good.
And I've found that it's been working really well for me. And the way I use it, Walt and Bridge and everybody out there, the way I use it, or the purpose that I use it for is, and I certainly don't want this to sound arrogant at all, because I'm probably the least arrogant person you'll meet, but more and more, I'm really becoming aware of how powerful we are as spiritual beings. And I think I told you guys, that's my quest this year, to go spiritually deeper in who I am as a spiritual being, not just a human being. So in doing that, I tend to do the mirror technique and just reminding myself, I won't curse, but just reminding myself that I'm the stuff, right?
There you go.
That what I have is valuable to the world, and all the stuff that I take for granted, right, you guys? So a little bit off the subject, but I'm looping it back around. My friend texted me. Well, she's in the UK, so she's 7 hours ahead of me. So it was the next day for her. So it was already the 4th for her, but it was still the 3rd for me. And she texted me and she was like, Bob Proctor just died like 3 hours ago. And I was like, no. What are you talking about? Right? Why haven't I heard of this? Well, first of all, I'm not on the internet and stuff like that, right? Unless it's business related, but we're not going to go there. And so I was just like shocked, but happy, and it really, losing him really made me kind of reflect on just, one, how powerful we are, two, how I, as a spiritual being, need to stop taking for granted the mission that I've been put here to do, right? Because I can't think of where my life would be had my ex not introduced me to Bob Proctor and the law of attraction, right? I mean, I wouldn't even be here.
True.
Honestly. And so when I do the mirror technique, it reminds me, I remind myself that, Monique, you're powerful. The things that you take for granted that you think everybody knows, everybody does not know. There's still a plethora of people who are unaware that it's the subconscious mind that really drives our habits and our actions, and not the conscious mind, right? But that's something we all know, but I still kind of take for granted that everybody knows that. And so I don't always, you guys, I don't always do what I'm here to do, you know? So I have to remind myself, you have a mission, Monique, and you're really good. Like you're really knowledgeable, because I'm in therapy, right? I have a therapist. And when I was telling her about all the stuff that I can do or that I know how to do, she was just blown away, literally blown away. And I'm sitting there looking like, but doesn't everybody know how to build a website? And doesn't everybody know how to, you know, put together a newsletter and do funnels and, you know, just stuff that I've been doing for a long time. See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying, Bridget? But, you know, I'm thinking that that's no big deal, but probably because my inner circle, they all know how to do this and so much more. So I kind of feel like I'm behind the curve. But anyway, Walt, the point is my daily routine definitely has to consist of the mirror technique, because I think we all can kind of get down on ourselves or not think that we're so fabulous or that we're so great, but we really are, right? We really are. No matter what mission we've been put here to do, I think we all have a mission, just different. I mean, Bridget, I don't know your life, but your mission could literally be to be a great mom and raise amazing human beings, right? That's a mission.
Yeah.
So sometimes, Walt, I think that we forget how powerful we are. We tend to be down on ourselves, and we tend to focus more on the negative about ourselves than the good. So I constantly have to remind myself, I make it a practice every day, especially now that I'm starting to get onto TikTok and less away from Facebook and Instagram, because TikTok is just completely different. It's just a completely different platform. And I'm telling you,
what do you get out of TikTok? Like, what do you go on there and like, because I don't have it. I'm just curious.
I personally don't. My daughter introduced me to it, but it is exploding for businesses, because it's what Instagram and Facebook were when they first started. You know, the organic reach, how you can reach people literally with no money. People are building thousands, millions of followers, right? And so it's really easy if you have a product or a service to sell. It's really easy to gain a following quickly and sell your services and products. Much more easier than it is for Facebook and Instagram, because it's still kind of new. You know what I mean? Okay. But if you think of anything, they call it TikTok University, like I call YouTube University, right? Because there's so many people on there teaching. If I watch anything, my timeline, if you will, automatically pops up manifestation stuff. Obviously, right? What else would it be? That and decorating tips, because I do like household decorating. But other than that, that's what I use it for.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
I've had so many people talk about TikTok, and I keep thinking maybe I should do stuff there.
Yeah, you totally should. Well, no, seriously, you totally should. You totally should. I slept on TikTok for a long time, but it is work. It's not as easy as they make it seem, because if you want to grow your following on TikTok, literally, you need to be putting at least 3 to 5 videos out a day. But it's only like 7 15-second videos, right? Mm-hmm. At least 3 a day.
Very interesting.
Yeah, so the algorithm picks you up.
Are there any other tips? I mean, since you're handing out TikTok tips, I figured let's pick up a few more here, you know?
Yeah, I'm totally learning. I just took a TikTok challenge. So I think one of the things that I learned last week was I had a business TikTok account versus a personal. So if you have a business TikTok account, you automatically get a clickable link. So if you have a website or Amazon affiliate links or whatever, you automatically get that as a business. even if you got one follower or none. But as a personal account, you have to gain 1,000 followers before they'll give you a clickable link. Now the caveat, now the caveat to that, you guys, is if you have a personal link, then you can do all these trends, all the trending sounds. You see the people dancing and pointing and whatever, right? You can access the those trending sounds. As a business, you cannot. So that's the caveat.
I don't know what's the advantage of the trending sounds? I mean, what is it? Other than people like that. I mean, obviously people like that. Otherwise they wouldn't be trending, but.
Right. So if it's trending, and let's say you're doing one of the transitions or whatever the latest TikTok dance might be going around, that's how people find you, because it's trending. So people are literally looking for videos with that particular sound or that transition or that dance, right? Doesn't matter what niche you may be in. It's just the trend to kind of get you in front of people, So my daughter was like, well, Mom, why don't you switch from a business account? Cause I got 33 whole followers, right? And she was like, well, why don't you switch from a business account? Because she said you have a clickable link, but nobody knows you. So nobody's clicking on it. Why don't you change to a personal account, build your audience, get up to 1,000 people, then put your link. She said, then you're more known, more popular. Now people will probably start clicking on your link because you have at least 1,000 followers. Made sense to me. So last week I changed over to a personal account so I could do all the trendy stuff so people can find me. And then once I hit 1,000, I'll probably switch back over to a business account so I can keep up with my analytics.
So basically, is this two separate accounts, or is this one account you're just changing it from one to the other?
Yep, you're just changing it from one to the other.
Oh, that's wild.
That's the great thing about TikTok. Like on Facebook, I'm sure you guys know this, but for Facebook, you've got your personal profile page, right? Your friends and family, and then you have a business page. Well, Facebook penalizes you, or they will shut your account down if they find you promoting your business on your personal page. Whereas TikTok doesn't care. You can promote your business on your personal if you want. They don't care. So that's the good thing. Yeah, I'm learning so much, you guys. I'm learning so much. But Walt, I have speaking about your mission and where you're meant to be, right? I've been kind of struggling all last year with the whole coaching thing, right? And the lady that we had on a few weeks ago when I was on, I don't remember her name, from Australia, right? The manifestation coach.
Diane. Yeah, I know who you mean. Yes, yeah. I can't remember her name.
Yeah. So I'm watching her and we're all talking. I'm so inspired. I'm like, yeah, I need to get back into coaching. Yeah. And then like the next day, I'm like, no, we don't need to get back into coaching. It wore off in 24 hours. I was like, no, we don't need to get back into coaching. So then I had to think, Walt, like you. So you found this podcast, right? And you've been doing the podcast because this is your life's, well, I don't know if it's your life's work, but right now, this is your life's work, right? This is what you're passionate about. This is what you're here to do, right? And so I had to start thinking about how can I best serve my audience, but also serve myself. And coaching is just not something that I wanted to do. But my friend said, well, Monique, you're very, very knowledgeable. Have you ever thought about having a membership site? And I was like, no, I haven't. So that's what I've been doing for like the last couple of weeks as well, is putting together my membership site, because it allows me to be able to, one, utilize tons of instructional videos that I've made in terms of manifestation, how to stuff, right? How to do certain techniques or whatever. And then I'm building a private podcast. Also my affirmations and my affirmation music. So all of the things that I can offer under one umbrella. And instead of doing coaching, I can do a 1-hour live Q&A. So if they have questions, I can answer without feeling pressured to have something step by step built out. Because I think, Walt, that was one of my one of the things, manifestation to me is just so personal. I don't know about you guys, but everybody manifests differently. I use Bible verses. My friend, she uses crystals and spiritual baths, right? And I'm sure you guys have your rituals and things that you use. So it just didn't sit right to me to try and tell people this is the absolute way you have to do it, right?
Yeah.
So I thought this would be a way for me. This is my vehicle for service, right? Versus just the one-on-one coaching.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
Yeah.
And you've identified, how do you describe it? You've identified step 2 in the Esther Hicks Abraham process. Step 1 is you identified what you don't like. So that's the part you really have identified. Like I did the coaching all these years. I don't like that anymore. I'm done with that. So you got through step 1. Step 2 is where you invert it. You say, okay, here's what I want to do instead. And that, in this case, is you're setting up a membership site so you can continue to spread the word and share your expertise and turn it into a business model. So you got step 2 going. All you got now is step 3. I mean, heck, you're there.
And I'm not really of course I know who Abraham Hicks is, but I'm not familiar with Abraham's process.
Oh, it's essentially the same thing as you find in The Secret, the movie. The 3-step process, they word it differently. They kind of organize it differently. I think The Secret says ask, believe, and receive, something like that. And this is essentially the same general idea. They just kind of tweak it a little bit differently.
Oh,
but
okay.
Basically breaking the whole manifestation process down into 3 steps. And actually, if I remember correctly, Abraham actually has about 5 steps now because 4 and 5 is basically to get you back into step 1 again. So it becomes a continuous cycle of manifesting stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the general idea of it. So, but it's very interesting, and thank you for the little primer on TikTok.
On TikTok.
I'm thinking about that one.
Yes, it's so much, you guys. It's fun, kind of like you, Walt. You know, you're rediscovering your love of playing the piano, right, or your keyboard.
Yeah.
And I'm rediscovering my love of, I don't know if you want to call it entertainment, but I used to love to dance and sing as a kid. I used to want to be Whitney Houston, right? Mm-hmm. And on TikTok, it's entertainment based. So
yeah, that makes sense. Especially if they're all 15-second videos. I mean, there's basically quick hit. Where can you get a hook into somebody to?
Yeah, exactly.
But on the flip side, I mean, 15 seconds. How long does it take to come up with something that's 15 seconds? It's pretty quick, right?
Exactly.
So I imagine you basically go to the oldies but goodies and just recycle them.
I wish it worked that way. And that's the thing about TikTok. There's always new trends. It seems like every week, to be honest with you. A new trending sound, a new trend. I mean, you don't have to dance, but, you know, a new transition. It's always something new. So it's like that. You know what I mean?
So how much, it sounds like you're paying a lot of attention to the trends.
You have to if you're going to be successful on TikTok, because again, it's completely different from, I kind of feel like Facebook and Instagram are more kind of like information based. Oh, no, you don't. I see you, Jeffrey. Oh, no, you don't.
Jeffrey's stirring the pot here, folks.
Yes, he is. Okay.
He was trying to encourage Monique to do her Whitney Houston.
I love our audience. So fun.
Absolutely. They keep us on our toes.
Yes, definitely, Jeff.
Oh, that's funny. That's really good. It does all kind of come together. He's cleaning He's on his knees.
Now he's getting me on the train. I want to hear it now.
Oh, no.
No. Trending happens over on TikTok.
Right, exactly. Right? There you go, Walt.
That's true. That's for later. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, actually, now all of a sudden I have this thing. Do I really want to go on TikTok? I have no interest in going on doing dances and all that kind of stuff. It's not me. So I'm not so sure, but we'll think about that one. Maybe I'll take
most of the manifestation is not that. I found it's mostly more educational than it is trendy. Mm-hmm. But I'm just doing the trendy stuff just to get my name out there so people, will find me. after that, probably not so much.
I imagine I could probably do something with the sub theme. I mean, the main sub theme here is your daily dose of happy. We're always trying to raise our own vibe and get the listener vibe up as well. You see Walt floss. No, sorry, Jeffrey, that's not happening.
Jeff is on one today. Oh my gosh. Man.
Oh God.
Jeff today.
But this is what I'm talking about in terms of your daily dose of happy. We're laughing our butts off right now. But I figure any kind of topic that becomes trendy, all I got to do is just find the humor side of that, right?
Yeah, you do. And TikTok makes it so easy because they actually will show you. I mean, you can, what's the word? Filter it by the trending videos or the trending sound, right? Mm-hmm. Or what's just trending, period. Like the topic that's just trending, period. So they make it extremely easy for you to be successful on there as well, I must admit. And it's like 1,000 people on there who give TikTok, tips for free. Right. So.
Yeah. And that's basically what you're going to expect when you join a platform like that. I mean, that's kind of what it's all about, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But that's all right. What you're trying to do is you build your audience. That's the whole point, building the audience.
Yeah.
It certainly fits in with my goal because I want to build the audience of the show. So yeah, I may actually give that a shot.
Yeah, and then you can always get a link tree to where, you put a link on there and they can join the podcast right from the link. They don't even have to go to Apple Pod or, wherever they listen to the podcast. Yeah.
Plus, it would shock the heck out of my niece. I mean, she wouldn't believe it.
Yeah, she's like, what? Uncle Walt is on TikTok?
Exactly.
And that could be your name, Walt on TikTok. No, just whatever.
Yeah, I can see that happening. So, all right, I'm gonna have to do a little more learning here, but maybe I open the TikTok account and give that a shot and see what happens. Actually, I think I have the account open. I think there is actually an account.
Well, I have to warn you, it's so addictive. Like you can lose hours of your life on TikTok. It's just so much. I've done it before, right? So yeah.
I will consider myself forewarned and
Yes,
forearmed.
please.
Yes. I actually think I'm fairly safe, to be honest.
I thought I was too.
I mean, I've really gotten less and less interested in the social media.
I am too. And it just sucked me right in.
It just sucked you right in?
Because there's so much stuff, Walt. I mean, literally anything you can think of, somebody's doing it and they're making it edutainment. They're making it fun while you're getting educated. I mean, it sounds like, 15-second snippets, but you really have to give a lot of value. Like you said, you got to hook people because you don't even have a minute. You don't even have 30 seconds.
No, 15 seconds. That's it.
That's nothing, right?
Which means you got about 2 seconds, really. You got 2 seconds to hook and then get them to listen to the other 13.
Right. Exactly. But I mean, of course you can make longer videos, and people who do manifestation, of course, you just can't do 15-second videos on manifestation. That's not going to work. So, I mean, you can do longer videos, but
that's the basics. It's like a minute, something like that. You can't go much more than a minute, if I remember correctly.
Oh, you can now.
Oh, you can now? Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can. You just have to, kind of like record it and kind of piece them together, sort of.
Oh, I see.
So to speak, to make it
kind of like
longer.
what Instagram did a few years ago. Similar to that. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I can certainly see how the model works. I mean, I understand why everybody's trying to do 15-second videos. 15 seconds is probably even long compared to what it is that you're trying to do with each of those videos that you're creating, because you're trying to get that quick recognition, quick notice. Yeah.
Yep. So I've got 2 more to do today. I've committed to do 3 a day for this entire month. I just started today, but I did one this morning. So I've got 2 more to do before I go to bed.
Was it a fun one?
I did an up and coming trending sound. It's from some old Katy Perry song, and the sound literally just says, "It's no big deal," right? But she starts screaming it. She starts out saying, "It's no big deal. It's no big deal. It's no big deal," right? And so the caption that I wrote above for that was, "When broke people tell you the law of attraction doesn't work." And so it was like, it's no big deal. When they say it, it's no big deal. They're broke. Okay, it's no big deal. Right? So
that's actually a good release statement. It's no big deal.
Yeah. Yeah.
It really is. You know, you're hanging on to something that's not serving you. Well, it's no big deal. Let go of it.
Yeah. See, see, get on TikTok. I'm going to send you the sound, and there you go. There's your first TikTok right there. That's it right there. Keep it 7 seconds, Walt, and boom, you're in there like swimwear. Because that's the trend right now. 7 seconds is the trend.
7 seconds. Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's the trend now. 7 seconds.
Okay.
Yeah. See, he's a natural, Bridget. He's a natural. Didn't even know.
Oh, Walt's got it.
Yeah.
Walt's got it. If he does it, he's got it.
He just doesn't know it.
Exactly. I'm sure your niece could hook you up. Man.
Oh, I have no doubt that she could. Yes.
How old is your niece?
She is 23 now, I think. She has a 1-year-old, or actually not even 1-year-old. Let's see, Riley's got to be 6, 7 months, something like that, 7 months old. So she's kept busy. Let's put it that way.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so she's around the age of my daughter. Okay, yeah. She's into the thick of it. She can tell you everything.
Luke wants to know what your TikTok name is.
Oh, my TikTok name is The Monique Y. Scott.
Okay.
So that's what it is. I just kept it simple.
I like it.
Yeah. That's where I am across all social. The Monique Y. Scott.
So keeping it consistent.
Yep. And simple. Something
and
I can
simple's
remember.
good. Yeah. And for other people to remember, because if people can't find you or want to look you up and your name is too long, I mean, it's just like when people are going through and just scrolling it's like, well, can't find it. Oh, well, next.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's perfect that you keep it simple.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's
you
what
need the brand.
I said. Walt on TikTok. Bam.
I'd probably be Walt at LOA today, just to keep the branding straight.
Hey, there you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
Love it. So
Very
now
simple.
he has no excuse, Bridget. He's got his name. We've got the first TikTok idea.
Now she's going to want to report from you next time, Walt.
But see, what we're demonstrating here is how I got the podcast going. Because literally I was just describing this to somebody. There's a summit coming up at the end of February that a friend is putting on, aimed at people who are interested in getting into podcasting.
Oh.
And I'm one of the speakers.
Nice.
And she was like doing a little promo with me. So we did like a 5-minute thing. And she asked me, how did you get started? And I got started back in 2012 because at that point in time, we were in a financially devastated state. The way I described it to her was I couldn't even afford to buy a book. We were so deep in debt. It was just really, really bad. And I learned a bit about the law of attraction. I didn't really know it well. So I figured, well, I could do a podcast. I mean, that doesn't cost me any money. It cost me time to learn how to do the podcast, but it doesn't cost me anything. And then I could bring guests on who are experts and they could teach me how the law of attraction works, which is exactly what I did. So what have I done here? You came on and you started talking about TikTok. And now you're teaching me about TikTok. So I'm using the podcast to learn about TikTok.
Ah, I love it.
I thought that earlier. I did. Yeah. I was like, Walt's over there taking notes. He's gonna have a TikTok. Like, that is so cool because it's so true. I mean, and you've said it from day one, and I do think that's just like the coolest way that you started the podcast. Like,
and it works. It works great.
Yeah,
you can learn all kinds of things this way.
It's so cool.
I have learned so much from guests and co-hosts and listeners just by this one technique. And plus, you can really stretch it out too. Like if I really wanted to, I could turn the rest of the show into a TikTok seminar just by asking the right questions.
Yeah, you could. I'm literally learning every single day.
That's the way to do it. That's really good. So you found your platform.
Young. Yeah.
That's good.
I think I feel like it keeps me young. I feel, well, not even young, just the world is moving so fast, you guys. I'm telling you, now we've got NFTs and the metaverse. I have a friend who's building that out for people now. I'm looking at doing NFTs for my own affirmation music part of my business that I'm setting up. So, I mean, it's just so much going on in the world today. You have to keep up.
Yeah, I don't even really understand what that they still are, to be honest.
I was just going to say, we need another seminar. So tell us what's this all about here? Like NFTs, Metaverse, I know that's the Facebook thing, but what's the NFT stuff?
Dang it. I don't know what NFT stands for, But what I do know, I think the shortened version is, I'll use my music as an example, right? So as far as I know, I'm the only person doing affirmations set to like hip hop music, right? And so how I would use NFTs is my community would buy my music, and there's an NFT that's attached to it that says, hey, this is exclusively a Monique Y. Scott product, right? Monique made this. This is her original product. So it's not time stamped, but what's the word I'm looking for?
Well, I found what the NFT stands for. It's an acronym that stands for non-fungible tokens.
Oh,
yes, yes. So these tokens authenticate that it's an original piece. That's how they're using it in like the art world these days, so that your art can't be stolen or transferred or given to someone else and they say, no, it's mine. I didn't steal it. It's really mine, right? Not the metaverse. I can't even think of what it's called. Oh gosh, it escapes me. But the platform that imprints it, where it's logged, if I'm making any sense, right?
Well, it sounds like NFT is based on the concept of a blockchain.
Thank you, blockchain. Dang it, I knew it started with a B. I just couldn't remember. Yes, yes, the blockchain technology. Yes, that is what it's authenticated through. So when I sell my music and people buy it, and I build my community around my music, no one else can steal it and say, "Oh no, affirmation music is mine. I came up with it first." No, the hell you didn't. No, you didn't. Okay. No, I did. Right. So it's just a way to build a community and to be able to give your clients or your customers even more value, because the hope is it gets more valuable over time. Like a painting would, right? Your tokens become more valuable over time, and hopefully you're adding more and more value to your clients by them buying these tokens, almost like you're buying into my business or into my company, so to speak, right? So let me give you even more value as a thank you for investing in my business.
So I'm hearing like there's like a crossover here to cryptocurrency, which are also based on blockchains. And cryptocurrency is meant to be an alternative medium of exchange to the usual dollars, euros, all that kind of stuff. So are we saying here that NFTs are designed to be something that can be used as a medium of exchange?
Well, yeah, I guess in a way, but not really. But don't quote me on that, because I'm still just learning myself, right? My friend, she's the guru, but I'm still just learning myself.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. It's one of those things that they've kind of crossed boundaries, there's a lot of overlap going on there. And so I'm wondering, okay, how far does the overlap go? What exactly is happening here?
That's what I'm saying. The world is moving so fast. So I figured, I got to stay up on TikTok and what's going on. And like you mentioned, the metaverse is so new. Now, personally, I'm not interested in the metaverse because to me, it's a form of almost like gaming, and I'm not interested in video games, that virtual world at all. That doesn't interest me whatsoever. I don't see why I should take my clients out of the real world into the metaverse. I understand what you can do in it, but I have no interest.
There may be some value in there. I imagine there definitely is, because they're investing so much money in it. So there's going to be some value in there. The thing that I always remind myself of, even now, there's all this. There's a lot of technology pressure, I'll call it. Mm-hmm. That's kind of what the NFTs fall into that category. Metaverse falls into that category. TikTok falls into that category. Facebook, all this other stuff, it all falls into that category. But the one thing that all of these technological wonders depend upon is human beings.
Yeah.
Without the human beings, the technology really doesn't do a whole lot for you.
Right.
So, people can chase whatever trend they want to, and they will, because I know that's what trends are for. People are Trend chasers. That's what they do.
I like that, trend chasers. Yeah.
Yeah, it's exactly what they do. And that's okay. Nothing wrong with that. But the thing I like to remind myself is it doesn't matter what the trend is. Ultimately, it has to come back to a human being and a community of human beings.
Yeah.
One of the things I value here is the audience, because it's an audience of human beings.
Right.
And I can tell because I get emails from them and I get comments on the live stream. I mean, I know they're real. I got to know some of them. It's pretty cool. I like that part. I don't think that's the part. I don't think that's ever going to go away. I don't care what technology you use. So
it's not going to go away. But I was just thinking about your podcast in like a virtual reality, and I totally could see you. Not that you would, but I could totally see, especially looking at your background, right? I could see.
I got my head in the stars.
Just work with me, you guys. Okay. Just visualize what I'm saying, right? So I could totally see that you would build, let's say, an arena. Maybe not as big as an arena. Let's say a room, right? And you've got chairs there's one for Jeff and there's one for Luke and whoever else may be listening, right? They've got the virtual headset thing, a virtual reality headset thing, and we all meet for the podcast. So instead of us looking at each other on screen, we're now in a virtual room looking at each other, right? Literally being virtually, physically there. And let's say me, Walt, and Bridge are up on stage and we're on a panel and they get to ask questions and it's very interactive versus them just listening to us and building community that way where it's like a two-way conversation, right? I can see that that's the lure of, again, the metaverse. However, that's just not something that I'm interested in at this time. That could change, but I would think that would be pretty cool. I could see that going that way for podcasters for sure.
That's an interesting
What do you think
concept
about that?
Because I've often liked the idea of, the old style talk show where you have an audience of people and you can go out into the audience and you can interview them and so forth. So having a virtual way to do that, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah. So Jeff asked, are you a hologram or an avatar? You're an avatar, Jeff. Yeah, you're an avatar. See, he knows more than I do because I wouldn't have even thought to ask that question, but I know the answer only because I watched, what's the Facebook guy's name? Mark? Yeah.
Zuckerberg.
Yeah, I watched Mark Z talk about it and I watched this little commercial on it and I thought, man, that's really cool. And so looking at your background, Walt, I thought, man, the room could be all spaced out. Like literally you could design it any way that you wanted to and it could look like space when we go in there. Like I love going to the planetarium and watching like, stuff on like asteroids and the solar system. And that's what I imagine the room would look like for us being in your podcast, right? That's what I imagine your room would look like as we're talking about the law of attraction and stuff.
Very interesting.
I'm digging it. Yeah.
Yeah. I like it too. Yeah. Maybe I do want to do this metaverse thing. No, I don't.
I didn't even know what it totally was really until you kind of just explained it all for me, like in, especially like podcasts, like terms and stuff. But no, it does sound like it would be like a good idea for people who do podcasts and whatnot. I mean, that's totally way more interactive. That's awesome.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Jeffrey's Comedy says it's like the Jedi Council.
Exactly. I like that with a Jedi Council.
That's what it is, yeah.
That's so cool.
Even though I've never seen Star Wars.
I've seen one of them.
She's one of the few.
Yes. Yes. I know what it is.
You know what it is, yeah. You can't really be alive today without knowing what it is, I don't think. But
right.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, this has been such a fun show today. Fun and informative.
I know. I'm glad you came on.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just feel like I'm just taking over the whole show. Sorry.
No
apology necessary. This is the way that.
Yeah.
I mean, we're like I've been saying for quite some time, we're long past law of attraction. Law of attraction is intertwined with every single aspect of human life. So there's really no need to make it the topic because life is the topic.
Right.
Make life the topic. You're talking about the law of attraction indirectly anyway. So don't worry about it,
Okay.
And that's what we're doing, So we're talking about life.
Yeah.
And to me, that's, I mean, I always harken back to what I know from when I was growing up and when I was young and so forth. I know talk shows. A talk show to me is the most direct form of human interaction on a broadcast medium that I knew about. There wasn't anything that was more direct than that.
Right.
Other than, meeting personally face to face. But, in terms of mass entertainment, it was talk shows. And so I just translate everything that I encounter from the talk show model that I know into what's the current thing. So when, like right now, you're talking about the metaverse, I'm thinking, okay, it's a virtual talk show. I can get that. Sure. Makes sense to me.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That took me back, and I don't even know what, Jeff, no, stop it. Okay.
Oh my God. Who woke him up? I want to know.
Exactly. But, I was, while you were talking about the talk show thing, I was thinking, what does that say about me as a kid? Like, I literally remember watching all the talk shows. Donahue, I was going to say Donahue was my favorite, but I mean, he was a king back then, right?
Yeah.
Him, Geraldo, obviously Oprah, Sally Jesse
sure.
Raphael, Jenny Jones. Oh my God, I watched too much, right? What kid watches talk shows? Oh my God. I should have known I was going to be a nerd right then, right?
There you go. But it also shows that you were enthralled by the idea of community even then, because that's really what that was all about. Yes. It was an on-television community, each one of those. And they were unique. They were their own communities, just like modern social media communities are their own unique communities. It's the same basic concept. It's just that now it's more accessible to everybody.
Yes. And I think overall, I just like learning. Everybody's so knowledgeable about everything. I mean, you can learn something from anybody, everybody. And I think that's just always been my fascination, watching people tell about their lives or their stories or what's going on with them, experiences. I just love people. So I think that was probably part of it too.
We've got to send some congratulations to Jeffrey. Jeffrey surprised us the other day. He has been a Peace Corps volunteer twice in his life before, and he's going for it a third time.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and he just said here he got his second Peace Corps interview today. He's very happy. So, yeah,
good for him.
Well done to you, Jeffrey. That is so cool. I mean, you hear stories about people who joined the Peace Corps once, and that's a major story.
Yeah, right? Like he's the only person I know.
I've never heard of anyone going back and doing it 3 times. That's just amazing. It's fabulous.
Nice. Awesome. Congratulations. And thank you, Luke, for, she's following me. So I've got 34 followers on TikTok.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. That's great. The funny thing too is, like, this is kind of like what I was trying to get at earlier when I was talking about the human element. Mm-hmm. Because all of these kinds of communities that they're trying to set up technologically, they all tie into the human element. They have to, because they need to have human beings involved in them. But we can also kind of get trapped in them. That's a little bit stronger than I meant, but you understand what I mean. You can get hooked into them to the point where if you take it to the extreme, it can actually become debilitating.
Yeah, and maybe even addictive.
And addictive, sure. Well, that's a form of debilitation for sure.
Yeah.
But the bottom line for me is, how do you bring it back to human interaction? Because the moment you do that, you eliminate all that other stuff. And by human interaction, I mean interacting as humans, not as people battling each other with information.
Right. And I think one of the ways that Mark spun it, right, was he talked about us working from home now with the whole pandemic thing and people missing their coworkers and missing being in an office environment. So then he talked about how you can literally create an office environment with your coworkers so that you don't feel so alone working from home. And I get that. I mean, I could see that, right? If you care about that kind of thing, which I don't. So yeah, that's never been a thing for me, working from home. I'm okay alone or with people, either or, right? But
certainly a lot of people discovered through the pandemic that they did like working at home. That was a new thing for a lot of people.
Yes, yes, which I think is partly what has led to the Great Resignation in and of itself, right? People are like, I don't need to be in the office to do my job.
I know people though that are actually the opposite.
They love being in the office?
Yeah.
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 Well, you're going to find both for sure.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just crazy. It is funny, like the extremes you'll see and hear people saying, like, I totally love working from home. Like, hope this doesn't change, to like, get me back in the office.
Yeah.
I just want to be there now. Like, it's just funny. Yeah. It's cool.
It's
I
true.
mean, it's like anything, everyone's going to have a different opinion, but it is so cool. Like, to see all the differences, which is awesome because we need both,
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's pretty cool.
And you made reference to the Great Resignation, which we talked about briefly on the podcast about 2 months ago, something like that, but we never really did a show on it. Maybe we should do that at some point. But I think the Great Resignation is one of the best things that's happened in the last 10 years. And the reason I say that is there was a lot of angst in this country over the last 4 or 5 years, pre-pandemic particularly, about the limitations that people at the lower end of the economic spectrum experienced. And minimum wage was a big topic. Limitations on ability to climb the ladder, so to speak. I mean, this has been like an ongoing narrative. And then along comes the Great Resignation. What does it do? It does what Congress couldn't do. It basically raises wages left and right because now all of a sudden the companies can't get enough labor. And the people who did resign were largely female, who were largely getting part-time work from home. They decided to go back home because they were liking being at home anyway. And so there's this big shift that's been going on that has been resolving all these issues that have been driving people crazy for years. And it did it with nobody intervening. There was no intervention anywhere. It was just, that's what happened. I mean, the pandemic happens. People just, have to stay home. All of a sudden they decide they like it. And then the people who are in the service industry decide they don't like the way they're being treated. And the whole thing shifts.
Yeah.
I mean, how cool is that? It required no direct controlled intervention of any kind. It just kind of happened. Mm-hmm. And it happened because people, and I love this part the best, people decided to be true to what they felt.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, that's not the way things typically work in the broader society. It works that way in conscious creator circles, but that's not the way people tend to react. And so this is a new trend. This is a new trend that has been established, that people, for the first time perhaps in their lives, without any real guidance, they're just finding themselves choosing to look out for their own joy, for their own stuff that they like. And they don't even know what the theory is behind it. They're just doing it anyway. How cool is that? How cool is that?
I'm on the fence about it. I mean, no, not on the fence about it. As someone who eats out way too much, I need them to go back to work. Okay. I need them to at least go back part-time. Okay. So I can get some decent service. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I even have a good answer for that. Cindy Chavez and I have talked about this, and we both agree. We have upped our tipping policies.
Oh, so totally.
So I'm now tipping a minimum 25% every single time that I'm out there. And as a result, we're getting great service. Really, really great service. Law of attraction, I shouldn't have been surprised by it. But, oh my God, we are getting like the nicest service people every time we're going out.
And that's really, really good, nice. Walt. Because I went to, the last time I was at Waffle House, they literally, and this is the second place, I saw this sign another place. It literally said, please be kind to our workers. And I asked, I said, why is this sign, what? This is crazy. And, they said, because they're limited with their staff and people are doing like DoorDash or whatever, Uber Eats or whatever. And they get frustrated and mad because the food is not ready yet. Right. But they've got limited people working. So, I mean, they're backed up, obviously, and people are just like, and being super mean and super nasty to the point to where they had corporate made them put the sign, please be nice to our workers. And I can't remember the other restaurant, but it was another restaurant, fast food restaurant, so to speak, that had the same type of sign, please be kind to our workers. And I was like, that's awful. So the
Well, it's awful on one hand, but it's good on another hand because what it means is they're saying, hey, let's start appreciating people. There's a good thing for a change.
You can work at McDonald's for $12 an hour, whereas what was it, 7 or 8 before, right?
And there are a lot of places now where, you know, the places that used to pay like 10 to 12, they're now paying 18 to 19. I mean, there's a lot of shift that's going on, and it's a good shift.
Yeah,
it's a good trend.
It is a good shift.
I like it a lot.
Yeah.
So. All right. Well, this has been fun as usual. The hour flies by, but it was worth it. It was an hour well spent. So thank you, ladies, very much for your contributions. And looking forward to continuing to get more from you, Monique. You're going to be coming by when you can. I know it's not going to be every time, but we'd like to see you more. And those times that you don't make it, then Bridget and I will just carry on like we do anyway, right? Because that's what we do.
Yes, we do.
Right.
All right. So thank you guys very much. Thank you, podcast listeners everywhere. And we will see you all next time here on LOA Today.
Bye, you guys.
Yes.
Goodbye, everybody.